So the bread has been rising. We checked it at about an hour and a half, and it wasn't ready. It's been rising for about 3 hours. And now it is ready. So we're going to take it out of the oven. And you can see that it has more than doubled in size.
Whoa!
Isn't that beautiful?
It's crazy.
So what we're going to do is punch it down now.
Sounds violent.
Yeah, well, it's kind of more like massage than violence.
Okay.
So punching is literally with a fist, and you press down into the bread. And you see what happens?
Oh, cool.
Punch it down the rest of the way. And this gets all the air bubbles out so that you don't trap air inside of it. So when it rises for the second time,
And why don't you want what the air bubbles do?
they make aside from making cute holes in the loaf, they make the loaf uneven and it won't rise in a really beautiful formation.
So when you get, like, when you're going through a loaf of bread and there's that one piece that has a big hole in it.
That's a bubble, air bubble. They got trapped. Mm-hmm.
So machines don't necessarily punch bread down so well.
No. They can't feel. I mean, I'm feeling this bread. I'm feeling it under my hand. I'm feeling the bubbles pop. It feels really awesome. Okay. So I'm going to do this bread in a sourdough loaves are so soft. It's really, they're very special. They're much softer than, so that's going to be a beautiful round loaf. And I'm going to let it rise in this pan.
And that's it.
It's almost ready, yeah.
Is there a second rise, or
There's a second rise.
do you punch it down after the second rise?
No, this is the shape it's going to have. I'm going to slice the top so that as it proofs, which is the rising process, is called proofing. I'm salting the bottom of this pan a little bit because I like it when I'm putting olive oil in the bottom of this pan. I really like it when there's little bits of salt in the crust. It just tastes awesome. And I'm just spreading the olive oil. Also, if you have an iron pan that has lost its seasoning for some reason, a great way to restore it is bake a loaf of bread in it. It'll be good as new.
Mm.
So I'm going to drop this beautiful round loaf in there. And then I'm going to slice the top. I have a serrated blade here. And I'm going to put a few slices in here just to help the dough rise. With sourdough bread, I put the slices in after it's in the pan, even though it hits the edge when I cut, because the dough is so soft and moist that if I slice it before I put it in, it kind of gets all...
Loses the shape.
Yeah, it gets all a little out of whack. Yeah. So here it is, ready to go for the second rise. And I'm going to cover it with the cloth again and put it back in our proofed oven, which has again been slightly warmed. And now it should take a little less time, perhaps an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, and then it'll be ready to bake. And we'll see you then.
All right.
So the bread has risen. It's ready to come out of the proofing oven. And voila. And now we are going to preheat the oven.
Oh, look where you cut it. It kind of this beautiful top.
Yeah, that's what the slices do. They make the beautiful pop. Now I'm going to preheat it. I start at 400. On a regular oven, it would be for 20 minutes. This is convection, so it'll be for 15. And as soon as that beeps, we'll go ahead and put this in.
Okay.
It's just on the edge of, like, this is as much as the bread should ever be allowed to rise. If it rose for even 10 minutes more, it would be too much. So I'm going to leave it uncovered in the chill here, because that's going to slow it down.
Okay.
A little breeze. And, right. Okay, so this oven says 375, but that's because it's convection. It's on a regular oven. This would be a 400 setting. And it is preheated. And now we are putting the beautiful bread inside the oven. It's going to stay there for 15 minutes. If it's a conventional oven, it's going to be 20 minutes. And then I'm going to take it out. I'm going to turn it down to what would be 350 degrees on a conventional oven. And you're going to then want to let it cook for between 25 and 40 more minutes. You smell the house to tell if it's done. When the smell permeates the house, it's done. And we'll also show you about thumping the bottom when we come back to take it out. Okay. The timer has gone off. The bread is coming out of the oven. Now, I'm saying this could be even a bit darker. So,
it looks so good. It smells so good.
Well,
You can give it some more time though. It looks.
I think it could use some more time.
What's the thumping you were doing?
I want to hear how hollow it sounds.
So we're listening for tone.
Listening
Do you want
for
it more hollow or less hollow?
More hollow. I want it more hollow.
Okay.
I just am going to give it 10 more minutes.
Okay. We'll be back in 10.
All right. Let's take a look at this bread again. Okay. Now see, it's a little darker on the edges. And yes, a better color underneath. Yes.
Sounds hollow?
Sounds hollow. Let me tip it up. Yes, sounds hollow like a drum.
It looks amazing.
Thank you, Roth. It's a pleasure to cook for you. So there is the beautiful bread. And now we can eat it. But we probably want to let it... I don't know if this is true. This is one of those things. I don't know if you know the story of the roast, where the woman cuts the corner off the roast. And her daughter says, "Why do you do that when you roast, Mom?" Because she's trying to learn her mother's recipe. And she says, "I don't know. We should ask your grandma. She always did it." So they go back to the grandma, and the grandma said, "I don't know. My mom always did it. Let's ask the great grandma." So they go to the great grandma, and she says, "Because my oven was too small." So my grandfather was the first person who taught me baking because he was a pastry chef, and I don't honestly know if this is the truth or not, but he always said not to eat bread immediately out of the oven because it would be too hard for the digestion, and that you should wait at least 10 or 15 minutes for it to cool a little bit.
Too warm, maybe?
Yeah. So that's what I do.
Well,
and maybe it's nothing.
Traditions.
Yeah. Could just be he had some other motive. I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you for showing us how to make your bread.
Well, you're welcome, and come back and eat it with us.